Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And I hope you're all having just a fantastic day. The sun is out. The weather is just gorgeous right now here in the Valley of the Sun. Hit those golf courses. I'm excited. My golf game's getting better. Excited about it. I owe it all, and I'm not kidding, to My Kind CBD. Just helps. One of the things, and you know when you get old. And again, listen, I know it's hard to believe, but I'm not a model of fitness. I'm a bigger guy. I need to do better, and I'm trying, with some success. And a lot of you out there know, I've lost 30 or 40 pounds a bunch of different times. Never been able to keep it off. But golfing, pickleball, bowling, I'm able to do all those things. Before CBD, golfing was I'd go out and you got to warm up. I mean, you have to, because it was, I don't want to say it was painful, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The first swing, I could barely even get the club back, right? Turning the hips and getting that shoulder turn, and it was just a battle. I still warm up, but there's sometimes where it just didn't work out. Because a lot of times I like to tee off later in the afternoon because the sun's out longer, and it's so cheap to golf right now. You can golf just about anywhere for like $40. But sometimes I got to work, and I'm racing to the course and I'm getting there, a couple minutes before tee off. It's fine. It's fine. It's almost like, at least in the soreness and what I can do, little things. I can reach down into the cup and pull my golf ball out. Well, that doesn't sound like a lot. A year and a half ago, I couldn't do that. I got to get a new knee, and it affects my hip, and it was just too painful. I can do it now. What changed? Did I lose 100 pounds? No. Did I change my diet? All I've done is I started taking CBD. That's it. Well, and to be fair, and stop taking Advil. Check it out. Go to 1360 and see. Hit the shopping cart button. I'm telling you, if you want to be more active, if you're suffering from what I'll just call old age, and we're not that. I'm 51. It's not like I'm old. Give it a shot. It's helped so many people. If you've had surgery recently, CBD is wonderful. If you're a cancer, right? If you're in chemo, it's a must. You got to have it. The bath salts are awesome. Listen, I was never a big bath guy. I like them. I like doing it. It's pretty cool. So check them out, 1360 KHNC. Hit the shopping cart button. While you're there, at the very top of the page, above the schedule, there will be a survey question. Just click on it. We're asking for feedback for what you want to listen to on what I'll call the drive home from work hours. 5 to 8, 4 to 7, whatever it may be. You got 5 choices out there. You got Larry Elder, who's currently there. The thing with Larry is, Larry's not doing the show because he's running for governor. We've got Dennis Prager. We've got the up-and-comers, Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro. Yesterday I told you all that somebody didn't want us to have Dan Bongino. Guess what? We said, fine, then we won't take him. They called us back yesterday and said, you know what? Do what you need to do. We'd love it if you picked them up. So we're back to the 5 choices. So is it Dan Bongino? Is it Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, Larry Elder, Dennis Prager? I want you to go out there and vote. Please tell us. We want to know. And whichever one of those 5 guys gets the most votes, that's the one we're playing. Just that simple. You want to be involved? Here's your great opportunity to do so. 1360 KHNC. I want you to do 2 things. One, I want you to shopping cart button, get your CBD. It can change your life. I mean it. And after you do that, take that survey. It's right at the very top. Where, we have like home and schedule and podcast. Right above that, you'll see it. Just click on it and place your vote. Let us know what you want to hear. We got a new schedule coming out the Tuesday after Labor Day. You're going to hear, I'm going to be on the air 3 hours a day. We're going to do a lot of great stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. Rick Rodriguez, one of the big favorites out there. He's going to 4 days a week. I mean, we got great things happening. Tell us what else you want to hear out there. Patriot Radio News Hour. When we get back, man, I got a great show for you. Don't touch that dial. 800-951-0592. Gold's up again, a few bucks. 1806. Silver up again. Up this time about 22 cents. 23.90. This morning got good news from the Bullion Bank. We were selling the Type 2 Silver Eagles last week. We weren't able to sell any yesterday because the Bullion Bank didn't know how many cases they would have left. The cases that we originally sold last week are already on their way. Everything we're selling today, 3 weeks, not 2 weeks. 3 weeks. But there are a handful of cases available. These are Type 2 Silver Eagles. What does Type 2 mean? All that means is we changed the design halfway through the year. As you know, as I explained last week, it's just the tail side of the coin. The old Silver Eagles, the one from '86 to the first half of this year, had a kind of like a spread eagle, eagle on the back with a big, crest, if you will, on the chest. Kind of like a coat of arms on his chest. This new version on the tail side of the coin, it has the eagle coming into to land on a perch, and it's a little more, not a little more, it's more lifelike, if you will, Silver Eagle, or silver. More lifelike eagle. I'll get it out. That's pretty cool. These are, again, the Type 2s. They're $6.85 a roll, which once again, as usual, pretty much the cheapest in the country. If you buy a case, which is 25 rolls, it comes in that green monster box. It weighs 42 pounds, it's like the size of a shoebox. And not the women's shoebox, like Shaq. I would imagine, I think Shaq, I don't know if Shaq could get both shoes in the case of Silver Eagles, but, maybe not that big, but, a decent-sized shoebox. You say $5 a roll, so it'll be $680 a roll for a case. And that would be I think $17,000 exactly. Yeah, right on the nose. $17,000 for a case. $685 if you want to buy them by the roll. And a handful. Right now we've got about 4 or 5 cases of the Type 2 Silver Eagles. 800-951 0592. A lot of talk, and I've addressed it a bunch of different times, about Bitcoin, Ethereum. We'll call them stable coins is the word they're using now. So the digital coins that are out there. And I've warned you repeatedly, hey, I'm not telling you don't buy them. Never said that. Matter of fact, hey, if you want to take a flyer, take a flyer. But be careful. And be very careful. Couple of interesting things going on with Coinbase. And for those of you that buy cryptos, you know what that is. For those of you that don't, Coinbase, at least here in the U.S., is kind of the place you go to exchange your dollars for one of the coins, right? And they've got a whole list of ones that you could buy. You know, Bitcoin and Ethereum being the most popular, but they've got them all out there. They announced this week that they are going to hold the reserves. Now, you would think they would hold their reserves in their cryptocurrencies. No. I got a good idea why they don't, and we're going to get to that in a minute. They're now saying they're going to hold their reserves in, well, they say cash in treasuries, and my guess is they're mostly going to hold their reserves in treasuries. Very interesting that they're saying that, listen, we're mindful of community sentiment because they know this is not going to be popular. But we're committed to the trust and the transparency and the evolving regulatory landscape, he said. Maybe a little bit of both. Number one, hey, we'll curry some favor with the government by saying, hey, listen, we're buying some of these treasuries. Someone's got to buy these treasuries. I mean, it's a horrible idea because you don't get any return. But in this case, at least they don't have the money in the bank, right? That's even worse. But is it possible that there's a bigger problem? This is out of CNBC this morning involving the Coinbase issue. Tanya is her name. It was a moment of panic. She had received a series of alerts about someone changing access to her cryptocurrency account. And she realized, as she stared at her computer screen, that nearly all of her $168,000 was gone, vanished, right in front of her eyes. She was stunned. Nearly 4 months have passed, and it is yet to sink in. Her and her husband jumped into crypto investing in 2017. And they watched their funds nearly quadruple. Listen, I don't mind. Yeah, you want to play around and do that? That's wonderful. Oh, thank you. Notes being handed back and forth to me. But having $187 or $168,000, I think that is crazy. Well, I guess it depends on how wealthy you are. Right? For the average person, that's crazy reckless. But nonetheless, the couple uses Coinbase. Well, they used Coinbase. It is the United States' largest crypto exchange. Right? So think about this. This is, the best of the best, allegedly. On exchanges such as Coinbase, users can deposit U.S. dollars and trade them for crypto such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. I looked into Coinbase, she said, and it seemed like it was the one that everybody used and trusted. And guess what? Absolutely right. Matter of fact, I think I've said it a few times on this show. You know, if you're going to do it, use Coinbase. I'm not saying that anymore. In late April, they opened their computer to a barrage of security alerts and password change notifications. I signed onto the crypto, and it said it was all gone. When they tried to contact Coinbase, they couldn't get anybody on the phone. Interviews with Coinbase customer service around the country and a review of thousands and thousands of complaints. I want to say over 11,000 complaints. Reveals a pattern of account takeovers where users see money suddenly vanish from their account, which was followed by a poor service from Coinbase that just left people feeling angry and hanging. It's worse, though. It's worse than that. Making the issue even worse, cryptocurrency transactions cannot be reversed, according to the FBI. Experts say once criminals access an account, your funds will be gone in seconds or minutes. Coinbase, which went public in April, has a market cap of $65 billion, 68 million users in 100+ countries, 2,100 full-time employees, $223 billion in assets held. Here's the problem, though. Coinbase users have filed over 11,000 complaints with the Federal Trade Commission and the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. The account that had $168,596 on April 28th when the hacking occurred left them with a total of $587.15. That's what the hackers left them. Unfortunately for them, you cannot get your money back. It seems that Coinbase did absolutely no research whatsoever. When we emailed them, Coinbase responded with, "You have been hacked," and there wasn't anything the company can do. You get nothing. Eventually, guess what, though? The company sent a $200 credit. So just be careful. If you get hacked, you're not getting your money. It's gone. And it won't be reversed. I did not know that. I mean, you would think reasonably, I mean, when you have a bank account, as an example, hey, I got my credit card stolen. I got my debit card stolen. Right? I'm going to protest these charges. Right? You get your money back, you know, 99% of the time. Be careful. Because with crypto, you don't. You've been hacked. It's your fault. You don't get your money back. And the funny part is now even Coinbase was like, well, we're not even going to hold our assets in it. What does that tell you? Right? I think it's pretty clear what it says. Hey, we're going to go buy treasuries because, you know what? When we get hacked, we don't get our money back either, right? I mean, just, again, it's not buying gold. It's not replacing gold. It's not the same thing in any way, shape, or form. And I just found it very interesting. I didn't know this, but I wanted to share it with you. And again, I love cryptos. I think it's great that people want to find a way to get out from under the central bank. The problem is, and this is what I've been saying all along, the central banks are going to take this whole front over. And I think at the end, and I could be wrong, it's either going to evolve into something else, or all these digital currencies are all going to go to zero. I don't know which. It'd probably be some winners, some losers. That's probably my guess. But Patriot Radio News Hour. I know, something to think about, right? We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Again, the Type 2 Silver Eagles, they're going quick. $685 buy a case, $680 a roll. I got a gold special we're tracking here. We'll get to it in the next segment. But get out to All American Gold. And I tell you all the time, you got to go out there every day. Make it part of your daily routine. There's so many things that we don't talk about. There's a couple of interviews I want to draw your attention to that are out there today. The first one by Jeff Gundlach. The guy's the best of the best. And he is the leading expert in the world when it comes to the bond market. This is something all of us should really care about. It is the site of the largest bubble ever. It's a bigger bubble than Wall Street. Of course, and it's being fully manipulated by the central bank, right? It's blocking price discovery. Doesn't want the bond market to function normally. Because if it did, the house of cards would collapse. I mean, they got a good reason. Don't get me wrong. They got a good reason. I mean, could you imagine what the 10-year note would have to yield right now? I mean, truthfully, what it would have to yield. Not the fake 5% inflation they say. Because then you can say, oh, it's got to yield 7. Which, that would be so devastating to the United States. Right now we're at the debt ceiling. So we don't, we're just piling on debt. We don't really know how much. We know that we're real close to 29 trillion, and we're going to be at 30 trillion by January. And you got to remember the Fed's balance sheet; they got 9 trillion. We're pretty much at 40 trillion, and grow. Just what it would do to the debt every year, just for interest payments at 7, we'd probably be looking at a national debt of 8-9 trillion, maybe 10 trillion a year if it got to 7. The problem is, as I explained to you yesterday, just if they fixed housing and left all the other cheating that they did. I told you, rent up 17%. That's across the country. The CPI would probably be near right where they were during the summer. I mean, we'd probably have to see a Paul Volcker like, hey, Fed funds rate 20%, which would take the national debt. I don't know, like the national debt would probably double overnight. I mean, over the course of the year. You can't do it. So Jeffrey Gundlach has been talking about what's coming. And he's a very patient man. He doesn't, worry about, 6 months ago or 3 months ago or what's going to happen next week or next month. He's just saying, hey, listen, get your financial house in order. In this interview, he talks about the dollar, and I told you, he's already given the dollar a number. Sometime before 2035, the dollar's days as the reserve currency comes to an end. He's already on record for that. In this interview, he has sped up when the Chinese will officially pass the United States as the quote-unquote largest economy in the world. The Chinese already are the largest consumer. But because of our devalued dollar, we still, in a dollar terms, have a bigger economy. Right? But they actually consume more stuff. He moved it up and said, at the latest now, 2028. By 2028, China will be the largest economy in the world, no matter how you count it. And he talked about how China has made it very clear that they fully expect to have as much or more power when it comes to their currency that the dollar has. And he talked about Bretton Woods and all that and what a great advantage it was and how we kind of blew it. And then he went on to talk about what's going to happen here over the next couple of years. He talked about the ending of stimulus. He talked about taper, which he says at the earliest will be December. And it won't be because they want to. It will be because they have to. He didn't say the feds are liars. He didn't say that specifically. But he said when it comes to inflation, the Fed has already been proven wrong. They were wrong when they said there wasn't going to be any inflation. They were wrong when they said it was going to be transitory. And he said that initially the Fed wanted us to believe that it was just going to be a couple of months. Gundlach says, well, it's already past that. And he goes, and now they're just hoping it's just going to be 6 or 9 months of transitory. Gundlach says they're going to give in December. And he said something very interesting that I didn't anticipate. He goes, Treasury yields are going to go lower when they start tapering. And I was like, what? No, it should go higher. He says it's the inverse. He goes, because the economy's going to be in trouble. And the bond market is the best there is to tell you there's trouble. And he talked about, look at what it's yielding today. It's telling you it's in trouble. They're ignoring it, but it's telling you. And of course, what loves falling bond yields? Check his interview out. I'll tell you the other one I want you to listen to when we return. 800-951-0592. So that's the first one I want you to watch. It's about 14 minutes. It's super important because he does a great job of explaining things very simply. And really, if you feel like you're still going to be on this earth, and I'm going to give you 3 different times: 2025, because that's when we're going to start with our Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid crisis. 2028, and I'm going to put a caveat on that. Right, that's when China is going to officially be the biggest country in the world, as far as in dollar terms, as far as economy size. And I put an asterisk by it because it may be sooner, and I actually think it's going to be soon. Because I think we got a big recession coming ahead. I think we got a super spike of inflation, followed by massive deflation. And it could be much earlier than, well, I don't know about much earlier, maybe 2027, 2026, something around that time frame. And then, of course, the last date right now, sometime in the mid to early 2030s, where Jeffrey Gundlach says, just by sheer size, China is going to be able to garner a much, much larger share of global reserves, and it's going to be coming at the expense of us. And he brought up a great point in the article. He's talking about GDP. And he goes, we've got fake GDP right now. And what he said was, all we're doing is consuming. The government's spending money for us to consume. It's not productive consumption. And he even put a number on it. He said, listen, 70% is just consumption. That's a negative return. And he goes, and what are we consuming? He goes, we're consuming Chinese goods. It's actually GDP for them. And looking at it, you know, almost like hey, there's two types of GDP. There's good GDP, productive GDP, and there's bad GDP, i.e., hey, just consuming. And he says, China's got the good one, we've got the bad one. And then the other one I want to bring to your attention, farther down. The countries that have bought and sold gold last year. And the list of the countries that bought them far exceeds. And by the way, the vast majority of the countries that sold gold, I'll use Germany as an example. They just sold enough to make gold coins. That's what they sold. There are other countries out there, and we know who they are. Russia. If gold prices fall, Russia will sell gold. If gold prices rise, they'll buy gold because they don't keep dollars anymore, right? We know that. Then there's the other countries like the Venezuelas and Syria and Turkey and this and that. You know, the people that have issues with trying to get around U.S. dollars, sanctions, right? Those countries. But the amount of selling is a pittance. But when you play the interview, Jeff Christian, who, quite honestly, I don't like the guy because he's a homer for what I'll call paper gold practices, doesn't want to call for the ending of the manipulation of the gold and silver markets, but anyhow. Listen to what he says, which is these countries want to buy gold. And they want to buy it at $1,700. They want to buy it at $1,800. They want to buy it at $1,900 because they think that's going to be a great price. And he says it's really kind of different. You know, it's not the buying, hey, I'm buying gold. Like, I'll use Russia as an example. Russia was buying gold, right, to get away from the United States, and the United States trying to sanction them, and that, you know, Venezuela comes to mind. It's not that. He goes, that's not what we're talking about. They're not buying gold to try to get out of, you know, around some sanction or this. They're buying it because they want to. And the price they're willing to pay tells you where the price of gold is going to be headed. So check out both of those articles. That interview, that's like 20 minutes. So between the two, it's a good 35 minutes or so. But check them out, allamericangold.com. Having said that, $20 gold, we ran them yesterday. We actually sold out yesterday afternoon. I got a note handed to me by Brittany earlier in the show. I've got another round of $20 gold. We were at $2,075 yesterday. Right now, regular price $2,095, and that's just because I'm trying to keep it below. It really should be about 21 and a quarter right now. But I've got another good amount of $20 gold pieces at $2,075 at 800-951-0592. Add to your portfolios. Go listen to those interviews. Go look at the list of the buyers. And like I said, most of the sellers, well, really all the sellers are either, hey, we're getting around U.S. sanctions, or we sell a little bit so we can produce gold coins. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. One last piece of economic data to leave you with. Yesterday we had existing homes. Today, new home sales. Down 27% year over year. But that's okay. New all-time record price. This the median price. So this will be the lowest of the. You got average price, median price. Average price is going to be higher because average price, you take all the sales, you add it all up, divided by the number of sales. So the high end sales carry more weight. The median, you take the most expensive new home that sold, and let's just say the most expensive new home that sold was $20 million. And then you take the cheapest new home that sold, and let's just say, I don't know, that was $250,000. And then you go second most expensive, second cheapest, third most, fourth, fifth, sixth, until you meet right in the middle. That hit a new all-time record high, and I can't believe $390,000. What? 400 grand essentially is for the median house. Probably means the average was probably somewhere around 410, 420. I tell that story all the time. Me and my wife, we bought our first house up at Anthem, Arizona. We were the median home buyer, the average buyer. It was $135,000. I don't know. I don't know how that math works. And you know what? You didn't have to put 20% down either. And I think we put 5%. Now, of course, the interest rate was 7.25%. But think about this: just for the a regular average new home, you got to come in with $80,000. That's why you need to put your gold away. 800-951-0592. If you're going to be on this planet 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, you want to have it put away. $20 gold pieces at $2,075. Be your own central bank. We've never seen a period out bank. They want to own it. They want to own it, and they're owning it more and more and more every single. I mean, it's almost getting crazy. With all these countries all over the world keep adding to it. There's a reason. And then, of course, U.S. Silver Eagles, right? The Type 2s, brand new, $685 today. If you buy a case, $680 at 800-951-0592. Don't forget, get your CBD. Don't forget, go out to 1360 KHNC and participate in our survey. Who do you want to listen to the most? We have choices from Larry Elder to Dan Bongino, the young guns, or I guess the up-and-comers, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro. Maybe it's Dennis Prager. Let us know. Cast your votes. Get your CBD, and then get your gold and silver put away. We're a one-stop shop then. 800-951-0592. God bless everybody. We'll be back for a hump day tomorrow.